Hi, welcome back to These Two Hands Homestead, where we believe with these two hands and God's will, we can accomplish anything. I'm Angel Christian. Today I'm going to show you how to dry out and store eggs, because if you're like us and you have an abundance of eggs and you can't sell, give away, or eat them fast enough, then you need a way to keep them so that they don't go bad and go to waste. So follow along and I'll show you how we do that. So one of the ways you can preserve eggs, as you can see I've already done some of them, is you can dehydrate them. What you're going to want to do first is you want to get a blender or a food processor or something, just anything that you can use to mix the eggs up real well. You can start out with putting a dozen eggs in there and see how far that gets you as far as filling up your dehydrator trays. So we'll go ahead and we'll get those eggs in there and go from there. Okay, so here I've got a dozen and a half, about 18 eggs. And once I get that blended up, I'll be able to pour it in my dehydrator and get those dried out. Now, these leftover eggshells are a great source of calcium for your chickens. So I just put them in this coffee tin, and I'll show you what we can do with those after we get the eggs done. Now I'm going to pour these eggs in here. I've got them all blended up. One thing you want to make sure when you have is to have these jelly roll trays. They typically come with your dehydrator, but you can also order them on Amazon. When you pour this in here, you don't want to overfill it because it'll spill over. You'll notice it's kind of frothy, and that's okay. It's not going to hurt the eggs at all. Okay, I've got all my trays filled up now. All that's left to do for right now is to get the top put on and get it plugged in and get these eggs drying out. I usually have it set about 145. They won't take quite as long. They'll take about 8 hours to get done. As soon as that gets done, we'll come back and show you what that looks like and continue on from there. Okay, well, it's been about 8 hours now. We're going to go ahead and check on our eggs and see how well they're done. Okay, yeah, these are pretty well done now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to unplug this. Okay, you'll know these eggs are done as long as they're not sticky and they'll be flaky like this, which is a good thing. So from here, we're going to want to take our trays, and then because they're oily, they'll come off the jelly rolls really easily. So you'll just want to take this tray and you can dump it on this, and it'll make the next step a lot easier. Okay, then once you get like 1 or 2 trays done, then you can take it over to a grinder or back to the blender if you clean it out by the time your eggs are done. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this over to our grinder. I got this grinder. It's got 4 blades in it, so it works really well to get it into a fine powder. Okay, I've got this in here, and we're going to go ahead and grind this up, and then I'll get the rest of the eggs ground up, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I got this all done. As you can see, it grinds it up real nice and powdery. So once you get that done, you can put it in a mason jar. Each quart jar holds about 4 to 6 dozen, depending on what size eggs you have. So once you get all the eggs done that you want to get done, they'll last about 5 to 10 years. I'm sure you're probably wondering, how do I use these eggs now? So 1 tablespoon of egg is 1 whole egg. And to rehydrate them to make like scrambled eggs or omelets, you would just do a 2-to-1 ratio, which is 2 tablespoons of water to 1 tablespoon of egg. You can also use them in baking, and you don't have to rehydrate them to use them in baking. You would just need 1 tablespoon of egg powder for however many eggs your recipe calls for. Okay, now as I mentioned earlier, I'll show you what you can do with all the leftover eggshells from the eggs you just dried out. What you want to do with these is to let them dry out for like a day or 2. That way they're not like all sticky and stuff from the leftover egg whites that are in there. Once you give them a day or 2 to dry out, you can put them in a little Ziploc bag here like I have, or you can just leave them in there, and you want to kind of crush them down a little bit so that way they'll fit in your grinder. A coffee grinder works great for this. It grinds it up into a nice fine powder, perfect for the chickens to be able to peck out whenever they want it. So let's get that going here. Okay, I got some of these done. I wanted to show you. It grinds it up real nice and small for them. Once you get all those eggshells ground up, you can put them in a feed bowl or some sort of container for your chickens to peck out, and you can put it in their coop so it keeps it out of the rain and the snow and stuff. These eggshells are a great source of calcium for the chickens, and it'll help harden up their shells. As in the wintertime, they can sometimes get a little softer, a little thinner, because they're not getting all the bugs and grass they normally would during the summer. You can also use the ground up eggshells and mix in with your flower beds or your garden beds, and it provides them with a good source of calcium as well. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. God bless.